One day I came across an article online. The title was, Netflix viewers have said they're forever haunted by the streaming service's new sci-fi horror film, Splice. I saw that and I was intrigued. At the end of March, Netflix added the traumatizing movie to their platform, leaving fans feeling physically ill. And I'd never seen the movie, so I thought I remembered hearing that it was some kind of weird creature feature type, something to do with creating a monster in a lab, so I couldn't really see how that would be disturbing, so I decided to check it out. I was not prepared for this. I wouldn't say it's disturbing. I would say it's incredibly confusing how it got greenlit, how it got released, how it got a big name actor to be in it. How any of this happened, you'll see. I also saw the movie described as a sexy fantasy sci-fi thriller, which, as you will soon see, is a big ol' yikes for whoever wrote that. So basically this movie is about two genetic engineers who are in a relationship and they work splicing together animal genes with human genes or extracting genes from animals that they could potentially use in humans to fight diseases or stuff like that. At least that's how the movie portrays their work. In reality, I don't know what the fuck this company does, because all they really do is produce a bunch of extremely... They produce a lot of monsters that I am worried I'm going to have to censor on YouTube. The intro's kind of cool. It's some weird, alien flesh-looking stuff and veins, but then it kind of goes over to, you see a light. You see a ovular light, and you're being born. It's the perspective of being born. It's a choice. Actually, now that I think about it, where was that being born from? Because they're in a lab. They don't have a mother. I guess they probably made some kind of artificial womb. It looked like it was being pushed out of a hole. They weren't cutting in. Anyway, they created these two creatures that they named Fred and Ginger. They really want to create human-animal hybrids, but the company they work for is yo, that's weird. Just do what we want you to do, which is synthesize proteins or extract proteins from animals that we could use to create drugs or in medicine. Basically, these creatures they created, yeah, you'll see. They really don't explain, and I really can't figure out what the purpose was in creating these specific creatures, except for that they wanted to create a hybrid. Why would you choose this creature? Why would you? I'm assuming they designed it. What were they trying to make? At least create something that isn't fucking disgusting. It's seriously the design for these creatures, it's they saw the concept art, the Geiger concept art for the xenomorph in Alien, and they were I like it, but it's just not phallic enough for me. I like it, but it doesn't remind me enough of a penis. Literally, they are just chodes. They are living, writhing, independent of a human being, penises. It's crazy that Guillermo del Toro executively produced this movie because he is known for his fantastic creature design. I have to assume he didn't have a hand in this because... yikes. Oh god, something even comes out of the urethra. Come on. I feel like they were just trying to see how much they could get away with. What if we just made them two sentient dicks? And they somehow snuck it by. I really don't know, and I really hope this isn't fetish material for somebody.
More than that, Barlow.
Yeah, relax, Bar. It's just another dog and pony show.
We could splice a dog and a pony.
Then why didn't you?
Boy, Morty, I really Cronenberg'd the world up, didn't I?
So she doesn't want them to do this creature splicing hybrid thing, and she says, work on what I hired you to work for, and we'll talk about a plan in the future to save the world. How is this saving the world? I think what she wants you to do is doing something important for humanity, and what you're choosing to do is some fucked up freak show Frankenstein shit. Come on. Their laboratory's called Nerd.
What's the profile?
Jane Doe. Anonymous female donor. Clean medical and heredity. The usual.
Dime a dozen.
1 in a million.
they're so snappy. So basically they're creating their hybrid even though they were told not to. Elsa says that it is a anonymous female donor who donated what I assume is the egg. And I don't think it ever says exactly what they're splicing it with. I know part of it is like a frog, some kind of amphibian. Damn. Look at all this fucking science going on. Got like x-rays and got like numbers and like shit lines connecting to other lines. Got like a floating piece of genetic material. Like, damn, there is science happening all over the place. Previously, they were creating successful, implantation and then aborting the mission. So killing it because, what's fucking Adrian Brody's name? Clive. Because Clive is like, no, we can't do that. We can't bring this into the world. We're just proving that we can do it.
It's not so simple, is it? There are moral considerations.
Millions of people are suffering and dying with no hope. We might be sitting on the key to saving them. What are the moral considerations of that?
What do you mean? How is this going to save people? A little bit like squishing sound effect for the dividing eggs. They put a little microphone in there. They're keeping like some kind of genetic sample in wine bottles. Next, Clive is talking to his brother. He's got a sick haircut.
Our boy's grown up into a fine young man.
In phase 2.
Hey, don't worry. We'll nail that gene.
Good, man. Double helix.
Gross, dude. Don't double helix your own brother. They did let one creature go to term, but it's due early. I don't really understand what that means in this context. She's just in like a big weird tank. But there are beeps. There are serious beeps happening.
You feel it?
Can't. Slippery.
What is it?
They have to like emergently birth this thing. It comes out looking like a giant sperm, of course, and it attacks Elsa. It's literally a sperm. It's a giant sperm with a dick head. I will say, I think the creature design is ridiculous for most of the movie, but it still holds up. The CGI still looks pretty good. It's gross looking. The creature develops really fast. They go in the next day and it's developed legs and it's escaped its little, what are those called? Incubator?
The H-50 continues to evolve rapidly. Emergence of arms and the closing seam that bisects her body suggests that she develops like a fetus outside the womb. Early cognitive recognition tests indicate growing intelligence.
Clive wants to kill it because I guess they had decided beforehand that they were just going to prove that they could make the creature, but Elsa's already kind of attached to it. It's weird how she changes throughout the movie, starting as like a sperm, and then she's like this T-Rex whale, and then she's very human-like. It doesn't really make sense. It's like when you get a Pokemon and it evolves and it's got the 3 stages and is like, what? They're just 3 things that don't even look related. I hate that. Oh, I just noticed the little antennas. Okay, so she's supposed to kind of develop in the way a fetus does, but just outside the womb, which kind of explains that, but like not enough, honestly. Well, I guess that explains that because embryos, human fetuses look pretty slug-like, pretty amorphous. So, okay, I guess they'll give them that. So management's kind of cracking down on them. They're like, why haven't you produced these proteins that we need yet? And they're getting a little bit suspicious. At this point, Elsa's dressing Dren in little dresses and acting like it's her child. Elsa notices that Dren has a fever and puts her in cool water in order to bring the fever down. Clive makes a decision and he holds Dren underwater, basically like trying to kill her. But then Dren has gills open up, and so they realize she's like partly amphibious. And Elsa's like, you saved her. How did you know she had gills? And Clive's like, yeah, I totally knew she had gills. I'm gonna order a pizza or something. I'm famished. Elsa is testing the creature, playing with her, using Scrabble tiles to kind of see if she can understand language. Oh, now her head looks like a little beluga whale. The creature sees the NERD on the shirt and spells it out. And she's like, oh, she recognizes language. And then decides to name her Dren.
What's the problem? Specimens need to be contained.
Don't call her that.
What do you want me to call her?
Dren. Dren. Her name's Dren.
She reads the Scrabble tiles upside down and it makes a name. Gavin overhears them arguing, and he sneaks in to kind of overhear what they're saying. And I guess Dren had gotten loose and she attacks him. So he finds out they're doing some weird ass shit. So they end up taking Dren out of the laboratory and bringing her to this old farm that I guess Elsa grew up on. Elsa is sticking to her convictions that once they present Ginger and Fred, the two dick monsters that they made, that the scientific community will be so overwhelmed with praise that they can then get away with having made Dren and you know, show Dren to the world. Like some kind of King Kong exhibition.
Do you think they could really look at this face and see anything less than a miracle?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they might see an abomination. They get to the farm. Dren escapes. They're chasing all over, and then they find her eating a wild animal raw, and she smiles. And previously they'd only been feeding her like vegetables and non-animal products, and Elsa's not happy. She wanted her to be a little vegetarian. They have her in a barn, and for some reason there's like a big tank of water for her, like a swimming pool size tank. Also, all of a sudden she's like grown. When they go into the farmhouse, which is where Elsa grew up, Clive realizes that she grew up in pretty crappy circumstances. Like her room is just like a nasty mattress on the ground. They also realize that Dren has wings. Now we've got an avian gene in there. Elsa and Clive are screwing around on the couch, and Dren somehow sneaks up and sees them. And Clive sees it, and that's the precise moment when he nuts, bro. Okay, so then they're doing their presentation of Ginger and Fred, the dick slugs, to the greater scientific community. I don't know who the hell's there. And they have little claws that come out of their urethral area. I mean, it's like their mouth or something, I don't know, but come on, that's what it is. And it's going okay at first, but then there's a literal cockfight. And they just fucking, yikes. They just hack each other, and it's just blood's going everywhere. It's kind of awesome. The tank they're in shatters and blood sprays out everywhere. Yeah. They realize what happened is that originally Fred and Ginger were female and male, but then Ginger changed into a male, like the frogs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
There's a cat in the barn that originally Dren snuggles up to and keeps as a pet.
Right now. Dren, you give that to me. Sorry. You can't keep her.
She's mad that they won't let her outside, and so she goes on a rampage. Like, what did they think was gonna happen? When she got to the point where she is almost a human woman. Like, you're just gonna keep her in there forever? I thought scientists are supposed to be smart. And Elsa is kind of being kind of overbearing and shitty to Dren. Clive is trying to cheer Dren up.
Hey, what's the matter, girl?
It's weird how he still talks to her like a pet. He comes up to this basically human woman, but just with weird legs and a weird face. And he's like, "What's the matter, girl? You want uppies? Want to go on a walk?" Actually, she does want to go on a walk. And so he puts on some jazz music and they start dancing. When they're dancing, there's some weird eye contact happening. And that's how he realizes somehow that the donor egg, the donor human female DNA, I guess, came from Elsa. It wasn't anonymous. So Elsa finds a bunch of drawings that Dren did of Clive, but none of her. So Elsa gives Dren back the cat, which she took away because she might be allergic or something. It didn't really make sense, but she gives the cat back to Dren after being a total bitch as a peace offering, I guess. And Dren just fucking kills it. And she slapped Dren. Are you fucking stupid? This thing has a poison stinger. Elsa knocks out Dren. The next thing we see is Dren tied up to a table, and Elsa cuts her dress off, which is totally unnecessary and weird. And Elsa is forcibly removing the stinger she has on her tail. It's kind of funny how they have Dren turned in such a way that her leg is covering whatever genitalia she may have. So we'll never get that question answered, I guess. But she does have, are they functional? Because, like, she's like part frog or something. Clive discovers it, and Elsa's like, you know why we haven't synthesized the protein? Because we've been working with dead tissue, or tissue that's been dead for too long. So I guess they're going to take Dren's stinger and use that to synthesize something. Which, this whole thing is so confusing. Didn't you put all of the DNA together? I mean, I guess the combination could produce some kind of new protein. I guess that's what they're going for, but I don't really think that makes sense. I'm not a mad scientist, so what do I know? There's this weird scene where, like, Clive is watching Dren through the video feed they have set up in there, and Dren's looking at the camera, and he's looking at her, and he kind of, like, reaches his hand out. And it's, like, implying that she could see him? Like, she reacts? I don't know. That's never explained, and that makes no fucking sense. If we're trying to make this whole thing on some level in this universe scientifically feasible, then like, why are we putting this weird supernatural element in? So this is where the movie really starts to go off the rails. No. Clive goes to see Dren in the barn, and Dren is naked with her wings out, and she kisses Clive, and he kisses her back, and they end up banging. Of course he wants to fuck it. He bangs his weird science experiment, part frog creature daughter. I wish they'd cut away sooner too. It's like, I'm good, I get it. Thanks. I guess when I was reading the synopsis for this movie, they said that Dren used a pheromone to seduce him, but I don't really see how they got that. It definitely makes it less creepy, but still. Elsa sees it happening on the, like, CCTV cameras they have in the barn. So she leaves and goes back to their apartment.
Forget about what it means to me. There are some things you do not do.
First he fucked the baking soda volcano, and now this? Makes me wonder what he might have done with the dick slugs.
I know, but we fucked up, hell.
I mean, you fucked up.
We chained her up, we locked her away from the world. We maimed her.
I maimed her.
So she forgives him really fast. I don't think that's something I could get over if I was in this extremely fucked up situation.
I synthesized the protein.
I synthesize protein all the time, dude. But they decide that they're gonna go back to the barn and kill Dren because everything's gone too far. But when they go to see her, she's really, really sick. But then she, I guess, dies. And they bury her out back and burn all her stuff so that there's no evidence. Gavin and the, like, annoying boss guy show up, and it turns out he told on them.
What? Gavin, what are you doing here?
Sorry, I had to.
Ooh, Canadian alert. So they tell him, you know, she's buried behind the barn, she's dead. But then something happens. It's kind of hard to tell the way they filmed it, but I guess Dren came out of the grave and then, like, somehow shot across and, like, grabbed the boss guy and killed him and hung him in a tree in, like, a 3-second, like, 3 seconds of film. And then they see her up on the roof, and it turns out that because of the amphibian DNA that she has also changed sexes. So she's now male, which you can tell because her face looks a little bit more masculine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't have a penis on it. So yeah, I guess just because it looks uglier, it's male. So at first when Dren comes back and starts killing people, I was like, yes, Dren, come back and kill them all and make it funny as hell. But then Dren is chasing Elsa through the woods. Elsa just slams into a tree. And then Dren rips off her clothes, and yeah, it's so unnecessary. And like right before he does, he goes, inside you. Ugh. And he grew back that stinger, and you see it going for her. I don't know where she got stung, but so Clive eventually shows up and, like, stabs Dren through with, like, a stick, I think. He Looks like Dren looks like he's going to die, but then he attacks Clive, and Elsa smashes Dren's head with a rock. But right as Dren's dying, he takes his stinger and stabs Clive, and Clive dies. This feels anti-trans somehow. The last scene is Elsa talking to like the big boss, I guess the CEO, who's got real Ghislaine Maxwell vibes. The camera shows that Elsa is pregnant. Ghislaine offers her a bunch of money to bring the pregnancy to term. To recap, the last time one of these things was born, it looked like this. So it turns out that the company took Dren's body and found like tons of compounds of proteins or whatever in her body that they are filing patents for. So it ended up being very successful for them. They were going to make a lot of money off of it. All in all, this movie, it's not terrible, honestly. Like the plot, the plot plots and the acting's okay and the story's interesting and creepy, but there's just some shit in here like, why? Why did it have to go this way? I feel like there's so many interesting things you could do with this concept and not involve sexual violence, but that's just me. Anyway, that's Splice. I'm not good at outros. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to intro or outro. See you next time. Bye. First, you fuck the baking soda. Shit, I'm not gonna be able to say this. First. So awkward. Okay. I hope that was funny enough. We are done.